Alright guys, what's going on? So just back here with another video. We got something here from Pierre that says call it now, and it's a message to Justin Trudeau. So let's have a look at this and then we'll talk about it after like usual.
Justin, I hope you're nice and toasty in Brazil, where you just flew, burning over 100 tons of jet fuel and putting over 100 tons of emissions into the atmosphere. Also that you can sit around on a big fancy panel giving a speech lecturing Canadians about why they are wrong to oppose your carbon tax.
And it's really, really easy when you're in a short-term survive. I got to be able to pay the rent this month. I got to be able to buy groceries for my kids, to say, okay, let's put climate change as a slightly lower priority. And that's something that's instinctive. When the storm comes, you want to hunker down and just sort of huddle up and wait for it to blow over. We can't do that around climate change. And unfortunately, we have an awful lot of political amplification of the kind of narrative that is directly opposed to that.
You claim that Canadians are just naive and they've been tricked by what you call disinformation into opposing this tax on their heat, housing, food, and fuel. But Canadians are not stupid, Justin. They oppose the tax because they see its price at the grocery store, where food has gone up 36% faster here in Canada than in the United States, a phenomenon that incidentally coincided with the application of your tax. They also know that the Parliamentary Budget Officer has said that 100% of middle-class families pay more in carbon tax costs than they get back in rebates. But you did say something that I do agree with. You admitted that the next election is all about the carbon tax.
It is no longer free to pollute in Canada, and we've won 3 elections on it already, and I'm going to be facing a 4th where it's very much in question.
And I couldn't agree more. In fact, the choice will be very simple. Either Canadians will vote for the NDP Liberals to quadruple the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre, which will grind our economy to a halt and mean that all the iron workers that build this incredible material here will be out of a job while Canadians will be out of food, or the common sense Conservatives who will axe the tax to bring home more affordable food and more powerful paychecks. So, Justin, you want a carbon tax election? Why don't you call it, so the Canadians can bring it home?
Yeah, I mean, very well said, right? I just love how Trudeau there, he goes, well, we've won 3 elections, and the next one, you know, there's a little bit of doubt. A little bit of doubt. Like, buddy, you're done. Like, what are you talking about? A little bit of doubt. That's just ridiculous. At the very beginning, Pierre Poilievre mentioned, you know, exactly how much carbon emission. I mean, 100 tons just from the jet fuel that the Prime Minister takes over to Brazil. And of course, he's taking a private jet, so he can emit as much carbon emissions as he wants. But no, Canada, come on, Canadians, you have to do better. And yeah, that whole ad, I was going to show you that ad the other day, but it was like 7 minutes long, and I know you guys hate looking at and hearing Justin Trudeau, so I thought I'd just show you this video instead because there was limited Justin Trudeau. So, but yeah, I mean, he was basically saying, you know, hey, I know it's tough right now, Canadians, but who cares? I don't care if you're starving. I don't care if you can't pay rent. Climate change, climate change, climate change. I just have to fearmonger you right into poverty. And that's clearly what he's trying to do. And for some Canadians, that's still working somehow. Don't know how, but it is working. It's pretty funny. I mean, at this point, it's crazy that people are willing to starve themselves over this fear-mongering nonsense. But, you know, they're going to let Trudeau lecture to him, and they're going to vote for him anyway. But unfortunately for them, most Canadians aren't dumb enough to just believe everything he says. Most Canadians understand that this is nonsense. Most Canadians don't even have climate change in their top 5 anymore because they've seen, you know, the hysteria and the fear-mongering for the last 10 years, and they've had enough. They know that the climate change is very unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen, and taxing people into poverty is not going to help. Because guess what? The more people that you have that are poor and miserable, the less people that are going to care about the environment. People who care about the environment care about it because of the future of our planet and their children and etc. Well, these people who are, you know, becoming poor and more poor under this Trudeau government, they're not going to care as much. the best way to help climate is to make everyone as prosperous as possible, give them a nice life, or, you know, not give them, but let them earn a nice life without all these extra taxes and how expensive everything is. And, you know, it's just impossible to be an average middle-class person right now. But if more people were thriving, more people would probably care about the climate because they have a future to actually worry about. Right? The more that the middle class is thriving, the more people go to school. Now, of course, there's problems with the current curriculum, of course, but, you know, if there's enough prosperity going around, the next generation can be more prosperous than us, probably smarter than us, and maybe they'll figure it out. And I know that sounds silly, but that's the best way to do it. I mean, someone's got to figure this out, how to have this clean energy, and not only produce it, but produce it so that we can rely on it. And that's not going to happen when you have a bunch more people worrying. They can't even, you know, pay their rent. They're worrying about groceries. They're not going to worry about climate change if that's the case. And Justin Trudeau's trying to convince them otherwise, but it ain't going to work. Canadians finally have woken up. They're too smart for it. We know we need a change, and we need it as soon as possible. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please don't be shy. I really enjoy reading and engaging with you guys. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps grow the channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.